Alright, welcome everybody to a very special triple commentary. My name is Moletrap. Well, that's not actually my name, but I am called it by many people these days. And this is, by the way, a match between Cal and Kwanro. This is game 2 of a best-of-3 set. And as I said, this is a very special commentary. This is a triple commentary. I've got with me here Klazart and also Combat. I had mentioned earlier that I was going to be commentating with Combat, and so we've got him in here. And it just so happened that Klaz was on at the same time also, so we're like, screw it, let's do a triple. So please excuse any random audio stuff that's going on, because this is the first time we've done a triple with the three of us in particular, and we've been having some audio problems with Combat, so, you know, if there's random stuff going on, then don't worry about it too much. So, in any case, yeah, this is going to be an exciting matchup. Klaz, why don't you tell us about what happened last week with these two guys?
Yeah, Kwanro got a severe beatdown. I think that's a good way to summarize it. But yeah, by day he goes by no name. By night he is known as Moletrap. And he is the Mole Trappers Guild representative for the United States of America. So anyway, yeah, we've got Kwanro starting up here in yellow playing Zerg, obviously at the 12 o'clock position. Cal starting up at the 9 o'clock position playing Protoss. And really, considering the first game between these two guys on Blue Storm, which is generally a Zerg stronghold, Kwanro went for a 9 pool, and it didn't pay off for him because Cal basically scouted him and had 2 photon cannons waiting. And that was it, pretty much it. Cal showed some impressive StarCraft with using a Robotics Reaver push and Reaver Zealot push, and Kwanro just couldn't cope, even though Kwanro played some decent StarCraft. I think because this is Katrina, I think Kwanro is probably going to bite the bullet here, because Katrina is just a map that Protoss consistently win on. And it looks like Cal is doing the smart thing, putting the Forge down first, so he's going to fast expand. Kwanro has taken his natural expo at the 11 o'clock position, and I'm very glad to have Combat alongside here with us.
Alright, yeah, hi guys. Yeah, again, Combat here. As you can see, Cal did actually put down his Forge, and he went for the 12 hatch and then the 11 pool. The reason for this being is he actually would have went for the 14 Nexus, except he didn't scout him in time, so he did get the Forge down first. And this map actually favors the fast expand because it's really easy to block off the front, and well, again, the distances are actually kind of big in this map, and so it's going to be hard to get the Zerglings across. That's why he didn't go for the 9 pool. And again, we're standard player for both players right now, and we'll see how this game goes on so far later on. I mean,
yeah, and you can see, yeah, he hasn't even had to put any cannons down yet because that pool is still going in now that he has scouted him. So yeah, definitely. I wanted to mention one of the things I thought was cool about their game last week. That was absolutely brilliant. I was really impressed by the way Cal pulled it off. Is I remember Kwanro went in with some Scourges and scouted that Cal was getting a second Stargate. And so Kwanro was like, oh, well, crap, I can't go air now. And he started getting Hydras instead. And then Cal switched over and canceled the Stargate and went for the Citadel instead and switched things over to Zealot Rush. And that was really unique. I thought that was cool how he did that. But yeah, I definitely think this is going to be exciting, though, even though I think Kwanro is definitely not favored in this matchup. He's a really, really aggressive player, and he's really, really fun to watch all the time. So even if he goes down, which he probably will, I'm expecting him to put up a damn good fight. I mean, even when he got 0-3'd by Bisu, he made a good show of it.
Yeah, Kwanro is one of those up-and-coming young players. I'm excited to see him, as I am any new exciting Zerg player. And Kwanro kind of reminds me of Jaedong maybe a year ago or maybe 6 months ago, when Jaedong was just starting to come into his own, where he was performing, but and oh my god, Kwanro's actually put a 4th hatchery down, so Kwanro's actually taken his natural exploit, and to me this is not a great idea. If you get scouted with that 4th hatchery, you're going to be in huge trouble versus a Protoss who was fast expanded. We saw Savior try doing that versus Visu, and Savior actually I think had gone for a 5th hatchery as well, but really overextending yourself versus Protoss on this map is not a good idea, because the Stargates will really shred your overlords, and you're going to have a difficult time defending against DT drops and DT rushes. In all your different hatcheries at the same time. It's difficult enough. Savior couldn't do it with probably his bases were a little bit more spread out than this, and even though he had tried to box his opponent in, he couldn't do it, although it has to be said he should have been able to do it. It was poor play by him that he didn't, but it is very difficult to do, and that hatchery, that 4th hatchery, is going to actually get scouted by Cal now. So as I was saying, I'm looking forward to seeing Cal, but I think we're probably going to need 1 or 2 more seasons before we really see him at his best, though probably the same amount of time it took Jaedong, and that's the kind of experience he's going to need, and then probably he will blossom, and we might have a very good Zerg player in prospect, because he's got the makings, he just doesn't have everything pat down yet.
Yeah, as you guys can see, the fourth hatchery is down, but I'm most again predicting a little bit early, but the Hydras, I'm pretty sure he's gonna go Hydras because to defend off against the Corsair harass, it's hard to go Mutalisks because Corsairs, again, 2 Stargates can outpump Mutalisks, and so I'm pretty much expecting Hydras. Again, he might go Mutalisk with like some really good Scourge micro, and those Zerglings getting past, and now they're gonna be scouting his base, but. I'm not sure if any. Well, obviously some of them are going to make it, but you know he's going to use his probes. Okay, there's the probes. They blocked him from going with the Zerglings, and yeah, he's not going to scout his expansion, so he doesn't know what Cal is doing right now. And there's a lair attack, yeah, again, Hydra's Lurkers. He's basically going to try to Lurker contain Cal, because Cal right now, getting a creep colony, maybe for spores, because Coursers are expected, and he has 4 Zealots, and I'm pretty sure he's going to go harass right now, but again, it's not going to be that effective, because, okay, Sunken's, I can't see right now, but I think it's Sunken going down. Yeah, this is actually basically come down to if that 4th expansion can stay protected or not, and that's basically what the game's gonna come down to.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting sunken down because he is a little bit worried about Zealots coming in, that sort of thing, and the stupid things are at the bottom, so I can't see what building they're pointing out. They're like specifically pointing out that building, but they're covering it up, so I can't see what it is. It might be a second Stargate, is what I'm kind of guessing. I could be wrong though, but yeah, it looks like he probably is going to hold this off. Kwanro looks like he was just basically kind of trying to invest in his economy there for a while, and then put down that sunken because he realized that Cal might be moving out a little bit. I'm not sure. I really wish I know what that building was, but Cal's not moving out, and he still seems to be teching up. So it looks like Kwanro might be able to secure that 3rd base, and that could work well for him.
Yeah, the key is going to come down to whether or not Cal decides to drop DTs, because right now Kwanro is basically focusing on defending via that 3rd expansion. He's kind of using it as a choke, and we've got Templar Archives now building for Cal. I don't see a robotics facility yet, though, so he's not going to be able to get those. He's not going to be able to get those DTs through, because, and I think that's the purpose of the Sunken. The purpose of the Sunken is to basically aid in defense versus DTs trying to get through. So what basically Kwanro is trying to do is trying to bunch up his defense at that natural expo, at that expo outside his main, because obviously any units are going to have to come through that to actually get into his base if they're going to come via land, and therefore he can bunch up his defenses there and not be spread himself so thin, and so still be able to defend, even though he's fast expanded early on. But the key is going to be when and if Cal decides to get a robotics facility and go for drops and spread himself all over, because that's what Kwanro is going to have a tough time defending against. That's what's going to require him to spread. And it looks like he's got actually speed upgrade Zealots, and he's heading in for that expansion now. And I think he's got enough here. He's got a couple of Sunkens up, he's got a couple of Hydralisks, so he should really be able to defend it. But Cal's coming in now with a huge group of Zealots. He's actually going to just try and circumvent this expansion entirely. Looks like he was trying to run around. He lost a couple of Zealots. He lost about 3 Zealots in the process of it and did no damage. So great defense by Kwanro. Well played by him there. And he seems to be holding on for the moment. He's actually got Mutalist now. He's actually made the switch to Mutalist. So he put a Spire up. He's got a Mutalist. He doesn't want to surrender air superiority to his opponent. I think it's a very gutsy move, considering he doesn't know if his opponent has 2 Stargates. That being said, Cal only has had the 1 Corsair flying around. He hasn't seemed to have built up a Corsair fleet. Usually when the Protoss player goes 2 Stargates, you'll see them having more Corsairs around. And he almost might have been caught if Cal had come in a second earlier, but he's managed to get those photon cannons up in time, so I'm not sure how effective. And he's also gotten an Archon, so I'm not sure of how effective this aerial harass is going to be. He's going to take 1 photon cannon down. One of the photon cannons comes down, but the Archons are going to ferret those Mutalist away. I have to say, I didn't see. I think Kwanro, Cal actually managed to scout that with his lone Corsair, but I'm surprised to see him surrender air superiority so easily to his opponent.
As you guys can see, he did go Mutalist, but I tried to point this out. I'm not sure if you guys will pick it up, but the main reason for that is, as you guys remember, his Zerglings went in really early, and here's the Mutalist grouping up. I highly don't recommend that because Archons can take it down really easily. Here comes, he's trying to spread out his Mutalisks. I'd run them if, okay, he's running them. Anyways, he's picking off some extra units because, get some extra damage on him. Anyways, if you guys remember, the Zergling scouted out the +1, when he was upgrading his +1, and that basically, most, Protoss players, when they get +1, okay, huge battle coming in here right now. Corsair's doing some extra damage. Basically, he's trying to let the Archon, lure them to the Archon so the Archon can do the main damage. And Archons get 3 hits on Mutalists, and they're basically wiped out almost. As you guys can see, lots of Archons taking Mutalists down, and he's just basically going to try to harass with these Mutalist force before he can get an actual army out. And here's he pushing up with a bunch of zealots, and we'll see if he can hold this or not. But let me get back to my point. Yeah, as you can see, he did get plus 1, and when Kwanro scouted that with the Zerglings, most Protoss, when they get +1, they also get early leg, and early leg helps Zealots, because Zealots can then 2-hit Zerglings, and that's why you saw the bunch of Zealots, because he was huge bat. Kwanro is not microing those mutalisks very well. He could easily be microing a lot better. But yeah, that's why he went mutalisks, because he knew that Cal was gonna go a bunch of zealots, because that's what you do with mass mat with +1. Anyways, he's trying to take out the cannon, and that cannon just made it in the nick of time, and he's trying to get getting a bunch of harassment as much as you can. And well, this is basically come down to how much the mutalisk can harass, and well, that's basically it right now.
Yeah, he's barely dodging his mutalisks around those Archons, and I'm really surprised actually that the mutalisks aren't dead yet, because they've been coming so close to encountering those Archons, and now Lurkers coming in here. Wow, he's got a significant amount of Lurkers here, and I'm not even sure, because we didn't see the robotics facility earlier, so I don't even know if Cal has observers out right now, and he probably doesn't, given by the fact that, oh no, watch out for the storm, watch out for the storm! Oh come on. Oh, I'm surprised he didn't storm the mutalisk there, although I guess the Lurkers are more of a threat at the moment. But, okay, it does appear, his observer just coming in there, so he is going to be able to take that out pretty easily with that massive zealots there. And, yeah, it's interesting. This is something that Diggity and I have talked about before. Kwanro, he loves his mutalisks, and sometimes he forgets he's playing Protoss, and he thinks that he's playing Terran, and he tries to mutalisk harass, even when the Protoss has Corsairs and Archons. But, I mean, he's such a ballsy player that he can almost, like, pull it off. I mean, he almost losing a couple of mutalisks there. His mutalisks... Okay, so basically, Kwanro has no more mutalisks, so it's going to be just Hydras and Lurkers from here on out, it looks like. But yeah, sometimes he can actually pull it off. He almost pulled it off, sort of, against Bisu a little bit here and there. But yeah, I mean, he's in pretty good position, as long as he can do something pretty soon to either get more hatcheries or to take down Cal's second expansion.
I have to say I disagree with Moletrap. Looks like Cal is setting up to go for a big push here. He's coming in, and Kwanro doesn't have a lot of his lurkers buried up, and he's also got a lot of his units bunched up, so they're ideal position for Storm, and they're going to get Storm big time here. And his defense is very piecemeal. He should have had the defense up leading up to that ramp, as opposed to behind those Sunkens the way he had them there. And as a result of it, he's losing his Sunkens. He's lost a lot of lurkers, though Cal has lost a decent amount of his attacking force as well, but he has a lot of dragoons. And Cal, I think, has now positioned himself where he can actually hit that extractor and actually hit Kwanro's. So Kwanro for now has held his defense with the lurkers and the hatcheries, but those lurkers are now going to get taken. A storm going off is going to catch a number of drones in it as well, and with the Archons pushing forward, he loses another one of the Archons. So Kwanro just barely holding his defense for now. He's trying to take that observer out. The observer does get him out, so that's crucial. The fact that he managed to take that observer out. Cal is going to have to wait for another observer before he can actually push any further. He also doesn't have any storms left with his main force up at the front of Kwanro's base, and so therefore he's actually going to be pushed back with those dragoons. So decent defense by Kwanro. I felt that he could have had a better defense prepared. He didn't seem to see that attack coming quickly enough. He didn't have his units well positioned for it. Just on the issue of that mutalisks, I think it was a great point made by Combat. Keen insight there. But I think that despite that, I think Kwanro got really played here. I think going mutalist was a bad decision for two reasons. First of all, he invested a lot of resources in those mutalists, and they did jack all for him. And I really think that Cal basically lulled Kwanro into going for those mutalists by basically the moment Kwanro scouted Cal with his Zerglings. Cal knew that Kwanro would know about his +1 Zealots, and so straight away he produced High Templar and did not even wait for them to have energies, which is why he had Archons waiting when those mutalisks arrived, and that's why he was able to defend so effectively. And just again trying to push up here on the main ramp, and so I think you've got to give a lot of credit, and that's incredibly impressive. And Kwanro just trying to get a surround with massive Zerglings here on those dragoons, but great positioning by Cal. You can see he's kept a couple of zealots back to protect his dragoons in the rear, and he's using a zealot wall. He's going to need those zealots reinforcements arriving now, because those dragoons are going to get mopped up otherwise, and those zealots arrive just in time to protect. And Kwanro really needs to focus those dragoons down and ignore the zealots. He managed to pick up a decent amount of Cal's forces there before getting pushed back. But yeah, I think it was absolute brilliance by Cal, because the moment he saw that those Zerglings got in and saw the +1 on his zealots, he immediately switched to getting an air defense. He put a couple of photon cannons down. He put a he got his high Templar out, didn't wait for energies, morphed them into Archons, and was basically waiting for his opponent's Mutalist to arrive, and Kwanro took the bait, hook, line, and sinker, and is now paying the price for it, probably by losing this game. He's trying to get an expansion up now at the 7 o'clock, at the 1 o'clock position, though I think at this stage the Protoss player has a strong economy and a stronger ground force, as well as better strongly upgraded units, and I think Kwanro is really going to struggle here, even though he is holding his defense for now.
Yeah, as you guys can see, Cal actually has a lot of gateways out. I'm not sure if you guys counted it, but he has at least 8 or 10 gateways out at least. And right, I'm saying it a bit early, but right now this game is slowly shifting into Cal's favor. The only factor here is if these 2 expansions can be defended or not, and Cal's really gonna have to aim for these 2 expansions. As he is right now, he's going for those 2 expansions, and it's basically gonna come down to if those 2 expansions can die or not. And he is getting his 4th expansion, so basically both players are going for a mass macro type build, and they're both investing highly in economy. Surely they both have enough units out to defend their own bases, but the Sunkens and the cannons are basically the factors that are neutralizing the armies. And that's why neither player can attack. But here's Cal coming in with a big attack, not a big attack, but basically enough to take out a hatchery in a few seconds. And I think that's what he's going to aim for. Yeah, he's going to aim for the hatchery. And again, he's not going to go for the Zerglings unless there's a small amount. But yeah, this hatchery is going to be taken down. As you can see, he's only aiming for the hatchery. That is taken down. Huge battle coming in here. Cal really needs to target those Zerkers, because those Zerkers can really splash Zealots, and they can do a lot of damage. Great Scourges and taking out the observers. Just need to get the last observer down. This hatchery is down, so now it's basically 4 expansions versus 4, I'm pretty sure, and Protoss is ahead when there's tied expansions, just because Protoss units are much more their efficiency is a lot better than the Zerg units. Unless he can get, because as you can see, lots of Dragoons here. Unless he can get good Plague and good Swarm, this game is slowly going to be shifting into, again, this expansion also might die, and this game's slowly shifting into Cal's favor, just because of the expansion count and the economic growth of both these players. And okay, yeah, this expansion is out, so now it's 4 expansions versus 3, and so Cal has taken the lead economically, and he's pumping off for like 12 gateways probably now, and yeah, so this game is shifting into Cal's favor.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for Kwanro to come back now, especially since his main is probably getting sort of low here. And Cal, it looks like Kwanro might be loading up for a drop. I could have seen that wrong, so we'll check in a minute if he actually does something like that. Yeah, it looks like he's going for a big drop here. So this is basically kind of his only chance, is to do some sort of big equalizing thing like this and try and maybe take out Cal's gateways or something like that, which probably won't happen because Cal's gateways are all over the damn place. And now he's like, oh crap, my secondary. I'm going to have to come back, and so Cal's going to have to drop on his own base here. And I think this brings the running total over the last 3 minutes to 150 Zerglings that have died, maybe 200 Zerglings that have died, because basically Cal just keeps going in, and the only way Kwanro has been doing anything about it is just streaming Zerglings in. He's got those lurkers out now, but he's down to his natural, because his main is almost mined out. So I don't think there's any way that Kwanro can come back in this game. Yeah, pretty much over at this point. He's now no longer has this expansion, essentially. Oh, and there he goes. See, GG's.